Bagaitso, madume ga fele. You're still watching Mzansi Fundis. Mama Taga, but tshwarana ga di washine ha ba batla sometimes. Gents, are tswaleng quickly. Football of the season, yona. Re bona e go re bereka ha bya.
Oh no, why is that? There should have been one nominee for that thing, one man. Shouldn't have been other nominees. This in the words of Coach KB. In the words of Coach KB, and we will use because he said Tito is a star. Ribeiro is world class. So Mufokeng, he must stay there by young star of the season.
Ano post.
Yes, I know.
Emotion with confidence.
Lovely.
Okay.
But a special mention.
No, but
special mention.
Special mention for what?
Quickly look for special mention.
I want to know what's Kukun.
Yeah.
A brilliant season.
Well, gents, I want us to have a look at what's happening in women's football, especially with the WAFCON taking place. Aunty Jess Ubuale, Coach Jerry.
Kenako yanong of the most exciting, most anticipated segment of the show. My name is Jessica Mushaba, known to you as Aunty Diski. Thank you very much, Lekoko. So I always talk about celebrating our allies in as much as we celebrate our queens. Allies are basically people that play the behind-the-scenes roles, men and women who make sure that these queens definitely shine to their greatest potential. Today I have serious bragging rights. When I say can't tolagala well simtolile, today I am joined by the amazing Coach Jerry Tshabalala. Hello, Fave.
Hi, Fave.
Okay.
Good thing. I'm
so happy that you are here.
I'm also happy.
So excited. We are honored to have this invite. But, you know, I always make sure when we start, we just give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to the viewers, those that know you, those that don't know you. Jerry Kimang and Jerry Tlahagai.
Yeah, my name is Jerry Tshabalala. All the way from, I was born and raised in Free State, but I moved from Free State at a younger age of 10 and moved to Joburg with my parents, and we moved to Tembisa. So basically, Jerry was born in Free State, but Tembisa.
And Tembisa, ne? Because let's fast forward to when you started getting into the coaching, industry, because that's the chunk of the show. What drove you to that department? Because you could have been anything else.
Yeah, look, as you know, I was also a footballer, So what happened was, when I got to retire, I was given an opportunity by Coach Martin Matsetela. Back then, he was the coach of Tembisa Black Pirates. So he realized, I think he saw something in me and said, look, I want to give you an opportunity to come and help me in a first team. We were playing in a league that's called Castle League back then. So he roped me in as his assistant coach. And I think that's where the love of coaching started. But at the time, I was still an assistant coach before I could even move to women's football.
And when you move into women's football, you take us through your Super Falcons and all of that leading up to Mamelodi Sundowns. What was the drive, because we know that women's football wasn't something that's really celebrated. Even today, we are still trying to make strides. But because we do need a lot of help, especially in that space.
Yeah, for me, it was just an opportunity that was given to me by one of my friends called Sihle Zwane. He recommended me to Detroit Ladies, by the way, the team that was participating in the Mpumalanga Sasso League back then. And he said to me, Coach, as an assistant coach to BAP, Martin Matitero used to call him BAP, so there's an opportunity for you in women's football so that you can be a head coach. And I said, this is an opportunity for me. I think I should grab it with both hands. And I said to Sihle, look, I'm willing to give it a try. And I gave it a try. When I got to Detroit Ladies, I got so many good players in that team, players that really welcomed me well, players that really believed in my philosophy, in the way I wanted the team to play. I'm talking about players like Mpumelelo Simpiwe Messina, Pindile Kabini. Those were the players at the time we were playing for Detroit Ladies.
And let's talk about the transition, moving over in all your coaching different stages, up until where you are now, because you've really made a lot of stars, players that are walking away with big highlights or big achievements rather. Let's talk about the stages. Where did you coach up until you led to Sundowns?
Yeah, like I said, I've started with Tembisa Black Pirates. Those were boys, but when I transitioned into women's football, I started with Detroit Ladies. At the time, Detroit, I think it was They were lying fourth on the league. It was a 2-stream, an A and a B stream. So I've coached Detroit for, I think it was the year 2010.
Okay.
The year 2010.
The World Cup.
Yeah, the World Cup. So fortunately enough, we got stronger, and we've won the league, the Mpumalanga League, with Detroit Ladies, you know. And lucky enough, we were about, at the time when I got there, the only players were with the national team. It was only Mpumalanga.
Okay.
So I think the national team coach at the time, it was Augustine Makalakalan. So after 6 months with the team, we were very, very fortunate that we had about 9 players who represented us into the national team. The national team that played in the WAFCON in 2010, where South Africa was hosting. The players like your Ethel Nkumise, your Simpio Masina was also called into the national team. Pindle Kabini, Tabsile Tsikitsi Taha, you know, there's a lot of players. There's about 9 of them. So that's when I started realizing that there's something in this guy called Jerry Tshabalala. I think for me, it's gonna be my path to go up in terms of the coaching levels. If I could just focus on this women's football.
Oh, I love it. Let's talk about your time briefly, just at Mamelodi Sundowns, just talking about some of the players. We had a player called Lelona Daweti here with us, and she spoke about how you've basically helped her throughout her footballing career. And she's not the only person or only player that has spoken about how you've shaped them and how you've made them to be the stars that they are. Let's talk about some of the relationships that you've had with your players on how you make sure that they become the great stars that they are today. King recipe.
Yeah, for me, before I could even go to Mamelodi Sundowns, I also had an opportunity to coach Luso Africa, the ladies team Luso Africa. At the time, there was the likes of your Maria Mutola, your Janine van Wyk, your like of Sisebo Mokopa. You know?
You've coached stars indeed.
Yeah, so basically, I think while I was still at Detroit, we had an opportunity to play against Mamelodi Sundowns, and we beat Mamelodi Sundowns 6-3. I think what happened was the former coach of Mamelodi Sundowns, Brian Dube, may his soul rest in peace, he passed on. So how it came for me to go to Sundowns, it was I think 2012, where I was called by some of the players. They recommended me to management and say, there's a coach who used to coach Detroit Ladies. I think currently he doesn't have a team. Can we just bring him down? And there was about 5 of us, the 5 coaches. We were given an opportunity to say, Monday, this coach will coach the team, will train the team. And I trained the team on Tuesday. The management asked the players, which coach do you think should come and coach? And the players, they said, we want the coach that trained us on Tuesday. Lucky enough, it was me who trained the players on Tuesday. And for me, you know, in terms of having a good relationship with my players, it started way back from the days of Detroit. You know, as you may know, that I'm a father to 2 beautiful daughters.
Yes.
So for me,
one of them is a coach.
Yeah, she's an up and coming coach. For me, you know, to have that good relationship with my players, I needed to create an environment for them where they would feel at home.
Safe,
they would be able to share anything with me, you know, and they wouldn't be scared to ask me questions, you know. You know, there's a typical moment that once happened for me, you know, during my time at Sundowns. You know, that's when I realized that these are my girls. I was no longer treating them like my players. I was treating them like my daughters. Hence, they were so free to talk anything with me, you know. So that's how I created that environment for them to say, I'm not your coach. I can only be your coach during when we play. But immediately after a match or training, I am your father.
Oh. Beautiful, beautiful. And I mean, they definitely do speak so well of you, and they're very fond of the teachings that you've given them. And I do think they identified you as their father at some point in time. So now let's move past Mamelodi Sundowns. Coach, what is next? Where are we now? I think there's celebratory moments that we need to actually highlight and talk about, but where are we now?
Yeah, look, there's a club that has already approached me. It's outside of South Africa. It's outside of South Africa.
Am I international?
Yeah, it's one of the big teams somewhere on the north, around north here.
North Africa. North Africa. 1+1, and you're not going to tell us who it is. We just need to watch the show and find out.
Just stay tuned.
Ooh, Lekoko, last space, I don't think we've had a firing episode like this one before. You had the great news from himself, Coach Jerry Tshabalala. Over to you.